Peace and shalom to you brothers again. Ever since this world existed, it always been interracial dating. Moses had an Egyptian wife. Solomon had concubines, and a lot of those concubines wasn't Israelites. They was of the other races. During the slavery times, even though a lot of our women got raped, it got to a point where a lot of our women wanted the Caucasian man anyway, and they enjoyed it. Other races mixed in with other races, etc. It always been there. What is my thoughts on it? Well, I'm not one of these Israelite brothers that teaches that we only should be with so-called black women or Israelite women. Why is that? Because even if you have an Israelite woman or wife or wives, and they're not doing what they're supposed to according to the scriptures, being a virgin, as respecting the fact that you're the head, respecting you, letting you lead, things of that sort. Spiritually, mentally, there's no different. They are no different than the other women of the other races. We living in Babylon. America is modern day Babylon, modern day Sodom, whatever you want to call it. 90% of these women of all races, basically it's the same. They've been raised the same. They haven't been raised to be wives. They're being raised to be whores, to do your thing. You know, become successful, be independent. You know, like and come to America, sow your wild oats with men. And then if you want to settle down and get married and have children, then you do it. That's backwards. Our ancestors, and when I say ancestors, I'm talking about biblical ancestors in the Bible, because all the people in the Bible were so-called black people. That's another topic for another day. So our ancestors in the scriptures, we had a certain code. We had a culture back then when it came to marriage. And that's when a man found a virgin, and that father of that virgin gave his daughter over to that man. And that was a biblical marriage. It was up to the father to consummate the marriage. And then, of course, once they have sex, that's consummated completely, 100%. But it was always predicated on the father. And sometimes the father will have to sign a written letter of the marriage too, depending on where you was at. Like it talks about in the book of Tobit. But it was always predicated on the father. That was biblical marriage. But see, we're not living in those times now. What I mean by that, and I'm not talking about that, I'm not saying that you can't do that, because you can, and I recommend it because that's the right thing to do. If you can find a virgin, all praises. But living in America, they go totally against the Bible when they talks about marriage, or what they describe marriage should be. And it's so secular. It's not biblical based at all. And some of you, and most of you Christians, all you Christians think that the American marriage is the only marriage that you should have. That's the right way to go. Nah. I'm not saying it's wrong. You can get married like that because it is a written covenant. And, you know, you and that woman have made an agreement to be with each other. That's fine. But there's nothing biblical about that, fellas, if that woman is not a virgin. That's why the Bible talks about when you marry a virgin, and then it gives the different qualifications and stuff and things that you need to do when you receive that virgin from her father. It don't talk about when you get married with a marriage license, just like America. So I just want to lay down that foundation first to some of you Israelite camp brothers, if you might be listening to me. So there's no need. Now, if you want to get with a so-called black woman and that's all you want to be with, that's a beautiful thing. Go ahead and do that. But I'm just saying, for you brothers who's just thinking that I just need to be with a so-called black woman and that's it, and if I don't do that, I'll be sinning. No, that's totally wrong. You won't be sinning if you get with a woman of another race. That's not a sin. No, because we're not living in our land, and we don't have a culture here in America where our women are virgins. And it's a whole lot of other different ways too that we ain't got time for that today. And one day I'll do a biblical study on that. But right now, it's not the time. But interracial dating, I tell you like this, fellas. I want you brothers to be with a so-called black woman. We need to build our community, yes. But I just know with our women in America and how they think, most of them don't want to be with you. They want to be with men of the other races. They don't think you manly enough to be their husbands. They don't want to submit to you because of society and what society says about you. If you're not an athlete, if you're not an actor, if you're not some kind of celebrity, they look at you as a bum. So most of our women don't want you to be their husbands. Like I said before, they just want you to have a baby with them. And then if you do, and if you act a certain way, and if you be a real man and hold them accountable for their actions, then they want to leave you. That's their excuse to leave you. And America like that. That's why they have no fault divorce. That's the reason why they came up with the kind of marriage that they have with a marriage license. You see what I'm saying? They can leave you for any reason. Especially if they get bored. Because that's what they're drawn by. Bored and jealousy. And they'll leave you just like that. And try to get with the man they always wanted to get with. Or the kind of man they always wanted to get with. See, in the ancient world, our women couldn't do that. In the biblical time, they couldn't just leave and do what they wanted to do. And if they did, it was harsh punishment for that. See? So you had that mindset like, I just want to be with a black woman, that's all I'm looking for. Then you're not going to be knowledgeable of how that woman really are, because it takes a long time to get to know how a woman really are. And when she starts showing her true colors, and then if you don't make her your wife, either you have to pay child support, alimony, you have to dish out money for other reasons because of the marriage didn't work out. And women know they got the power in America. You see what I'm saying? So don't let the brother fool you. Just thinking that you have to be with a so-called black woman, and if you don't, you'll be sinning. No. Now, the reason why I wanted to make this video is because, number one, black is not a race. Black is a skin color. We're Israelites. Your race is predicated to your father. Whoever your father is, or what your father is, that's what you are. Because your father carries the seed. Race means seed. Go read the book of Numbers, chapter 11, I think verse 18. Either chapter 1, verse 18, or chapter 11, verse 18. The Israelites was made as a race according to their fathers. So you are who your father is. So that's another reason why I don't preach that just be with your own kind message. Even though I wanted to be that way, but it doesn't matter if a Caucasian man is with a so-called black woman, if they have a child, that child is a Caucasian man. That child is an Edomite. That child is not among our race anymore, according to the scriptures. So we have to know what our race is. But our people have the less knowledge of who we are and have the less knowledge of race than any other race in the world. And they don't know what they're talking about anytime, anything when it pertains to that subject. They don't know what they're talking about. Because we say black is a race. We define ourselves as a skin color. And we let the Caucasian man do that. But it's not our fault because we didn't know. They just use that word Caucasian and white because it's a corporate title. That's just to signify what you are here in the corporation of America. But if you talk to most Caucasian people, they're going to tell you what their lineage is. Irish, Poland, things of that sort. They ain't going to use the skin color, but they just use that for corporation reasons. But that's what we stick to because we don't know. So it's very important for us to understand, especially you brothers, to understand that whoever you make a child with, that child is a part of your seed. That child is an Israelite. Not black. So I don't mind it. And that's a tough subject to tackle. But I'm just letting you brothers know, most of our sisters want to be with men of the other races. To most of our women, to 90% of our women, and this is my personal opinion from what I observe, 90% of our women, they look at themselves as a race over their total race. And what I mean by that, they look at another black woman as a sisterhood, like this is our race, before they do the whole community of so-called black people. They put their fellow sister before you. They don't really look at us as an overall race. When you cut to the chase, that's what it boiled down to. If they did, they would be trying to get with a so-called black man to be their husband. They'll be thinking about being a wife at an early age. Well, let me get it right because I don't want to be like a pervert on here. I'm talking about marriageable age, adult age, 18 or older. Let me specify. But they're not. And then they come with that sob story. I want to finish college first. I want to get my career going first. I want to finish my career first. Brother, that's a lame excuse. There's nothing wrong with that, obviously. But for the most part, that's an excuse because I bet you if a Caucasian man or men of the other races who got money in their pocket, who got themselves together, tried to get with them, and those men told them they wanted to get married, that's what the goal of theirs, to be married, and they was looking for a wife, that woman, she may continue her education, but she'll give it all up for the men of the other races. She'll slow that process down and make that man her fiance while she's furthering her education or finishing her career out. Because that's what she really want to do. When it comes to this interracial dating thing, always keep in mind, the prominent men always going to be able to choose different types of races of women. Your athletes, your celebrities, multi-million-dollar brothers, or men of the other races, they always going to have a pool of women, no matter what the race is, to choose from. That's just how that works. It ain't fair, but that's just the way it is. Life is about power. And whatever man is in power, going to always have the choices of women to choose from than the next man. The Caucasian male is what? They're on the top of the society in America. So overall, they always gonna have the choice of women to choose from because they consider what being number one in power. Life is about power, fellas. So the more you accumulate resources and got yourself together, the more money you make, you're going to draw more women to you. That's just the way it is. Women love power. Now, I'm not talking about this puppy love when you're in high school and you're 20, 21. Women, the girls just don't care. You know what I'm saying? You go to McDonald's with your woman, you go to a movie, you take her to the hotel and do what you got to do, and that's it. And you get bad chicks just like that because you're young minded. She's young minded. But when you get to that point that you want to become a man and have a family, and you want to lead that woman, that's a different story. Most of the time, that woman ain't gonna be looking at you like that. She's gonna be looking at power. So that's just the way that is. So don't get caught up in all that stuff saying, oh man, when a so-called black man get rich or make it to the top, the first thing he do is go get women of the other races. That's the biggest lie. 70% of so-called black men that play in the NFL and in the NFL got so-called black wives. But you know what the problem is there? The problem is though, they're not looking at just the regular NBA players or the regular NFL players. They looking at the so-called big dogs, the Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, LeBron James, Kevin Durant. That's who they looking at because they want to get with those big dog. They want to get with the big dog players. That's who they looking at. But they don't care about Ricky, who making 50 or 60,000, working hard on his job, or David, who working hard making 45 or either 80 or 90 on his job. But they going where the celebrity men's at because they want to get with him. So they look at them as the standard. Our women love power. That's what it's all about. So that's why they say that lame stuff about when they get rich and make it to the top, they just want to marry or get with the women of the other races. Because they mad because they can't get the top dogs. There's plenty of brothers out here, nice brothers out here, man, that will treat them right. Provide for them the best way they can. Love them, die for them. Be there for their needs, lead them. Put the Most High first. But they really don't want those men. A lot of you brothers know this stuff already. So that's what's going on. So that's my take on the whole thing of it. But at the end of the day, you just have to realize the difference between a concubine and a wife. That's what I urge you brothers to do. Learn the difference between a wife, a material woman, and a woman that you just chill with. When you do that, you'll be okay. Now, me personally, I love the sisters. And I encourage you to look to the sisters first. I encourage that. But at the end of the day, the Most High want a man to have companionship. The Most High wants a man to either have a wife or a concubine or concubines or wives because they're part of manhood. Not too many of you brothers can live like Paul. And that's not to say Paul didn't deal with women behind closed doors. I'm not saying that. But he didn't make women his number one priority. He made the Most High his number one priority. We can't be like God's son, Yahweh, and not deal with women at all. It's too hard. And most of you brothers don't have sex before. He had only one man that did it perfectly like that. And that was the Yahweh. and you brothers is not him. Get that through your head. So a lot of people make interracial dating a big issue, but it really not a big issue. It's simple. You brothers just have to keep in mind that the women of the other races, most of them is just like our women too. They look at us as being low, being less than, being at the bottom in America. And most of them who got something going for themselves don't want the average so-called black man either. We're last even when it comes to the women. So you brothers have to understand that. That's why I encourage you, brother. Don't get in trouble because you trying to talk to these women of other races and you know they trying to accuse you of harassment, sexual harassment, things of that sort. Our women too. Because even just trying to talk to them, just giving them a compliment, they saying that you're harassing them. Just looking at them and admiring their beauty, they saying that you're harassing them. So you basically have to be careful with all women. That's the key. So what I'm saying, brothers, in these last days, if the woman's not wife material, don't even try to take her serious like that. Just make her a woman that you chill with and just leave it at that until you can find a so-called black woman that's on that level like that. And it take years to determine if that woman on that level, because women will fool you. Women are smarter than men when it comes to hiding stuff and hiding their true self. So that's the key. So just keep that in mind, brother. So ain't no sense of trying to be mid-tile or trying to be upset with our women, you know what I'm saying, and try to have anger towards them because the way they are, they're not going to change. It's only a certain small few that's ready to be a wife to you because they brainwashed to the system. You just have to roll with it. And if the Most High fortunate to send you one, which he can, then roll with it. But if not, then just have one or two or three that you can handle and be honest, that you can just chill with, but always be honest. But I'm telling you, all this being upset and with the women and stuff and pouting, that's not going to help because the women don't care how much, our women, let me specify, don't care how much you pout. Pouting is not going to get you the girl that you want. That's not going to help at all. And pouting is not going to help the Most High bring another woman of another race to you. Because I was like that at one time, believe it or not. I was like, I want me a white girl because I'm tired of these sisters. I'm a Christian man. Back then, I was a Christian. I'm a Christian man. I'm a good dude. You know, I try to be a law-abiding citizen. And God, you won't send me no wife. And I was looking at it like, man, why these black women treat me like this? Good as I am. That stuff don't work. It's about power. So you just be patient. And if the Most High, like I said, if the Most High send you one, then cool. That's a beautiful thing. But if not, then you continue to do what you need to do. There's concubine. The Most High made concubine for a reason. And I know some of you Christian brothers who probably watching this don't believe in concubines, but that means you don't believe in the whole Bible. That's on you. But brothers, there's always a lot of women out there you can get with and just chill. What they call Netflix and chill. Just chill with them. You can go on trips. You can go to football, basketball games, and whatever you like to do. And just make it a chick that you just like to chill with. You know? But just be sure you upfront about the situation. Always be honest. Anything other than honesty, then, you know, you're off. You know, the Most High don't like that. But in these last days, especially for you young brothers, and y'all pass this on to your nephews and your grandsons, whatever the case may be. Most of our young ladies from like 17 on up, I'm gonna say 17 to like that 30 range. Like I said earlier, they're not looking to marry your sons and your grandsons. They either want to be independent or be with a man of the other races. So you got to teach them these things that I'm teaching you, for they can be comfortable being alone. Because when you're alone, that's when you do your best work when it comes to getting your career going and knowing what you want to do. Finding out what you like and working on your success, worrying about your money instead of a woman. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to have to teach them these things, because that's what these young ladies doing. They putting themselves before a man. And that's what you got to do. You got to make sure that your son is established and becoming a real man before he can worry about, settling down. So like I said, these young ladies from 18 to 30, our young ladies, they just messing around. So at the end of the day, no matter what the race of woman is, most of them, I'm not going to say all, 90% of them think alike. They are raised to be whores in America and not wives. So keep in mind, I believe in so-called blacks being with so-called blacks, because I want our race to be strong. But if you get with a woman of other races, there's nothing wrong with it. But if our women do it, it's a sin, according to the book of Numbers, chapter 11, verse 18. And that's how our ancestors had it. The man carries the seed, and that's who we are according to the Father. That's why God's son, Yahushua, who most of you people know as Jesus Christ, that it's not his name, once again, but it's Yahushua. The Bible says he came through what? David's seed, means sperm. That's Joseph's dad. That's Joseph's son. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Yahushua was Joseph's son. And he came through that bloodline, through that seed. He from the tribe of Judah. We are from the tribe of Judah, Israelites. And he came, like I said before, he came through David's seed. And that's how our children come through the Father's seed. And that's who you are, not skin color. So to make our race grow, fathers, brothers, we got to do the right thing. If you have a child, be the best you can be. Have enough money to provide for that child, and we grow our nation just like that. But for you brothers who got wives or women of other races, don't feel bad. Don't let no Israelite camp brother make you feel bad about that. But keep in mind though, if you're an Israelite brother, a so-called black man, and you have a woman of another race or Caucasian lady or something, you can't be a leader talking about your people, because people are going to look at you sideways. And you can't blame that on nobody but yourself. That's just the way it is. You can't be no leader among our people talking about the white man this and the white man that, America this, America that, what we need to do as a people to grow, when you got a woman of the other race. Even though your child is an Israelite spiritually and through the bloodline, at the end of the day, you're not going to be as effective because you got a woman of the other race. It's not fair, but that's just the way it is. But there's nothing wrong with it. Once again, our sister's not going to change. A lot of you brothers not going to believe what I'm saying, but you're going to see. And some of your sons and your grandsons, nephews, going to tell you. And you're going to see the shift change. They're going to try to get with men they're getting with men of the other races. So, peace to your brother. I appreciate it. Another video. Subscribe, like, share it, and I'll see you on the next go round. Later.